Greetings from New York City. I'm Phil and we're running the bridges. This is a video series where we visit all the bridges in New York City that you can run across. Big, the small, the old, the new, world famous icons, and the ones you've never even heard of. And today we are in Brooklyn. We are in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and we are going to be visiting the Williamsburg Bridge. Alright, so this is a nice one. This is going to be a good one. We are currently at the corner of Bedford Avenue and South 6th Street, which is also the intersection of Broadway. It's Broadway right there, Bedford here, South 6th Street here, and the bridge is right behind me. The bridge runs between South 5th Street and Broadway in Brooklyn, or between South 6th Street here. So this is one of the big bridges across the East River, of course, in New York City between Brooklyn and Manhattan. And in fact, it was the second bridge, only the second bridge built across the East River after, of course, the Brooklyn Bridge. This was built between 1896 and 1903. Construction began even when Brooklyn was still a separate city. And it opened on December 19th, 1903, and it opened at first just the South Roadway opened. It took quite a bit of time for all the track work for the trolleys and the subways to be laid. It wasn't completely open for trolleys and transit until 1908. Currently there are no trolleys, but there is still subway access across. The J, M, and Z trains go across. There are 8 lanes of traffic, and there is a pedestrian and a bike lane. And this is an unusual bridge in that, well, there are several bridges in New York that have separate bike lanes and pedestrian/runner lanes. But this is unusual in that they merge over Manhattan. So for most of the length, they are separate, but for about the last quarter mile or so, or half a mile, it is the bike lanes and pedestrian lanes are merged. But you can, so you can see the towers behind me. And of course, this is a suspension bridge. And at the time it was built, the suspension span is 1,600 feet. At the time it was completed in 1903, it was the longest suspension span in the world. The total length of the bridge is 7,308 feet, including approaches and so forth. And this is also unusual in that the side approaches are supported not just by the suspension cables, but also by truss, spans, and towers to help give it that additional support. Yeah, so this is again in the Williamsburg neighborhood of Brooklyn. Very, very popular neighborhood. Just walking over here, coming over here is very, it's very popular. Very, yep. Also, I'm sure it's pretty expensive to live here too. But lots of great things to do. On the Brooklyn side, on the waterfront, you have Domino Park, which is a very nice park to walk in. At least it might be a little crowded for running, but it's a beautiful waterfront park. And of course, it is a little bit of a walk from here down to the waterfront, but probably about a half a mile or so. But we're going to go across. So the pedestrian entrance again here is on Bedford Avenue, and the bicycle entrance is a few blocks to the east on East 5th, or rather on South 5th Street and South 5th Place. And there's a plaza there where it's fairly visible for the bicycle entrance. The pedestrian entrance is a little more difficult to find, but just remember it's on Bedford Avenue. And we're just going to go over here and start heading across. And this is also a kind of unusually painted. It's kind of a pinkish salmon color. Alright. So here we're walking between Broadway and South 5th Street. Alright. So that's South 5th Street here, and here is our pedestrian entrance. All right, so you can see what that looks like. And I'm gonna we're not gonna film the whole crossing, because that would be fairly tedious. But I'll just go a little ways up so you can kind of get an idea. This is a busy bridge for pedestrians and for cyclists, especially on a beautiful Sunday morning like today. All right. I'm just going to go a little ways farther before I pause it. Alright, so we're pretty even with the roadway, and the subway tracks are up there. That's what it looks like the direction it's going. Alright, so I'm going to pause it here for a second, and then we'll catch up to it a little bit later on in the bridge. Okay. Okay, so zooming just a little bit farther from where we paused. We have a little bit of an open space here. I can take a little liberties. The pathway moves over to the side a little bit. Got a nice view of the towers. Got a nice view downriver. The Manhattan Bridge and the Brooklyn Bridge. Skyline. Manhattan waterfront. And then this and you can see across the way there is the bike lane over on the other side. All right, and we're just going to continue through here. All right, so I'm going to pause it again, and now I'll show you a little bit later on. Okay, just a little look. You can see a little bit upriver there. You can also see the tower right above us. Okay, we're going to pause it here again. Alright, and I'm just going to show you some of the waterfront. It's really kind of hard to see from this side of the bridge, but you can just kind of barely make out some of the old Domino sugar plant, which is now, of course, luxury housing, and right along the water down there. Really hard to see through there, but that's Domino Park. And then on the Manhattan side, there is also a park along the waterfront, Manhattan, the East River Greenway. It's a nice, and that's just been redone. I've not been on there for a while, so that's been redone. That's a nice waterfront. Nice waterfront area on the Manhattan side there as well. Alright. You see all the boats going down underneath. More cars down below. See All the boats going down underneath there. All right, I'm going to pause it here again. Okay, so we're just going to get another look. A little bit of a look upriver. If you look real close, you can see the Williamsburg Bridge up there. And then, of course, downriver, you still have the Brooklyn and Manhattan bridges. So, it's just a little bit of a view of what it is like to run across this bridge. For a few seconds. We're coming up to the Manhattan Tower again. All right. And just again, a better look at the Manhattan Park, the waterfront park there. It's very nice. And if you look, you can see some of the Midtown skyline. Some more of the view. All right, I'm going to pause it again. Right back. I should also mention that this parkland down there, the walkway, there's a greenway that extends all the way down from from the Staten Island Ferry, from like Battery Park area, all the way up along the East River up to 34th Street, a little past 34th, like maybe 36, 37. So this is part of that greenway section. All right. Yeah. Okay, so now when we get to this section, when we are over Manhattan, and you can look and see that there's FDR Drive, there's the Greenway, East River, barge going up the East River. And you can see like the bridge is mostly itself is a slate gray, but the railings on the pathway are this kind of pinkish, like salmon color. But this is about where the bicycle lane and pedestrian lane merge. So that's coming right up ahead. You see that's coming right up ahead. And so this is where you have to be careful, where you have to have courtesy, stay on your side. Don't be a nuisance. You see the subway tracks are going below us now. Roadways all below us. We're up above all that. All right, so here's where we merge. All right. So this is where. There you go. So now it's all one pathway. So you have to be careful. But one thing that a lot of people might miss, this little sign has been painted over New York Williamsburg Bridge, Department of Bridges, is what it says there. I don't know what that O is. Oh, City of New York. City of New York, Williamsburg Bridge, Department of Bridges, right there. And there is our pathway continuing down onto the Manhattan side. So we're going to pause there because we got to pay attention. Don't want to have this sticking out. So I'll see you at the bottom. All right, so now we're down on the Manhattan side, and we have this nice archway over the Manhattan entrance, and there's a plaque up here. Just wanted to show you that. National Historic civil engineering landmark, Williamsburg Bridge, completed 1903, designated 2009. So there's your grand entrance to the bridge on the Manhattan side, and we are on Delancey Street on the Lower East Side. We are like right in the middle of Delancey Street. And so we're right in the middle of Delancey Street. This is Clinton Street here, the cross street. You can also, so you have to wait for the light and then cross to get onto the street here. You can go a block up. Suffolk Street is the next street. You can also cross there. But there is our visit to the Williamsburg Bridge. And it's really a nice bridge to run on. You can kind of get an idea of the volume of traffic. It's very heavy traffic, especially on a nice day like this. And so, especially on this last section where the bike and pedestrian lanes are merged, just take care, take caution. Of course, you have the e-bikes and scooters and stuff. So just be careful and stay on the pedestrian side, and you're good to go. And but that's our visit to the Williamsburg Bridge. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed running across it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see where the wind takes us for the next one. Thank you.